Hi, I'm Merrick D'Amato.
And I'm gonna break into your brain, steal your engram, fry you darker than Makoshi ice.
And welcome back to Mindbreakers.
Takes off sunglasses, the show that's gonna fry your brain to Makoshi black until you shit yourself.
And we're finally looking at the final installment of a series that started actually pretty good, and then over the course of... It had two good ones and then immediately became terrible. House.
Yeah, the last one was actually good, no?
No, House 3?
Yeah, like...
That was awful.
Well, no, House 2 was fine.
House 1
one,
was
right?
good. House 2 was good. House 3
yeah, House
was
1
awful.
was good. House 2 was good, right?
Yeah, the first two were good. The third one
There
was
you
terrible.
go. That's what it was. Yeah.
And probably House 4 is going to suck.
First two, fine.
We're looking at House 4, Repossession from 1992.
Is that the subtitle?
Yes.
Really? That's actually a pretty good one.
On some posters.
That's actually a pretty good subtitle.
On the poster I found, it just says Home, Deadly Home.
Right, well, Repossession's actually a really good subtitle. This was made in 92.
92. It has 3.9 out of 10 on IMDb.
Yes. No known actors, as far as I can tell.
Except for William Catt, who was in the last one.
Yeah, I think he's the only character.
Well, no, in the first one.
First one?
Yep.
Okay, well, yeah.
Roger Cobb.
He was in one of the other ones.
Roger Cobb, William Catt, is killed in a car accident. His family must move into the house that has haunted him for several years. Soon the family begins to experience scary and unexplained phenomena. This is actually the same Roger Cobb and same William Catt from House 1.
Yeah, so it's like their actual continued story.
But it's also not the same Roger Cobb, but we'll get into that.
It's similar, but not exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's kind of a continuation, not really.
Anyway, aside from that, I don't know anyone in this movie.
Yeah, honestly, complete newbies. Like, nameless faces.
Let's just watch this.
Yeah. It's gonna be weird.
Roger Cobb has returned to his father's house.
You're making a big mistake.
He promised he would live here.
There are many memories of the past still sleeping in this house.
I'm tired of that house.
He never knew he would die here. His wife has come home to an empty house.
You think there are ghosts here?
Or has she?
Who are you?
The plumber.
If you love being scared, welcome home. Now, the only thing that can protect her is a love that wouldn't die.
God, I miss you.
House 4. Open the door, if you dare.
Okay, so depending on how you want to look at this is either House 4, House 3, or House 2.
You want to explain why that is?
Because this is the only one that follows up on the story of because, well, firstly, it could be House 3, because House 3 was made as the movie called The Horror Show.
Oh, yeah,
and
I
then
see.
It was called
Chronologically.
House 3. But it could be House 2.
But
it could be House 2, because this one follows up on the story of Roger Cobb.
Yeah, but you can't really call this one House 2 because House 2 is actually good.
Yes.
And better
and
than
you
House
also
1.
can't call it a follow-up because this Roger Cobb apparently doesn't have a son or the house from the last movie. This is an entirely new house, an entirely new stepbrother, and an entirely new wife and child.
And a new car!
Dun, 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 dun.
Da-da-da-da-da.
So, our characters, Roger Cobb, Kelly Cobb, Laurel Cobb,
It's
and
a
Burke
new wife! It's a
Burke
new daughter!
are at a house at Grandpa's house. At William Katt's dad's house.
Yeah, her grandpa, whatever, Laurel's grandpa. Dude's
And
dad.
Burke's like, "Hey, come on, you want to sell me this house? Hey, you want to sell me this house? You know, we'll make a
Fucking
deal." You
Snidely
see?
Whiplash. He's fucking all over the fucking place. This guy reeks of evil. Evil man in evil clothes.
Well, more an evil man in schlubby clothes.
It's you know what he actually does more remind me of?
What?
I want you to take like 3 guesses. Just real quick 3 guesses.
I can't. I don't know what you're thinking of.
Okay, because it's pretty easy. It's a pretty obvious pull.
Well, okay, you think JoJo's a pretty obvious pull.
No, this
so-
is an actual obvious pull because it's us.
What does he look like?
Burke, Mr. Burke from Fallout 3, just minus the glasses.
Mr. Burke.
The
I gotta
you
look
find
this-
in the Megaton bar. He blows up the city.
Oh, I never talked to him.
Oh, you never did?
No.
Really? Okay, so you missed all that. That's like
Oh,
the
he had-
best part of Fallout 3.
No, he asked me to blow up Megaton, so I vaxed him.
No, but that's like one of the best things. If you actually agree to blow up Megaton for him, he basically just like tells you, okay, come over to this multi-million-dollar penthouse and watch the fucking city explode from there.
I never would have done that.
Well, it's like the main thing if you're evil to do.
Yeah, but I never play Fallout games as a bad guy.
Why not? It's like one of the best things ever.
Because it's wrong.
So what? It's a video game.
I try to be a good person in Fallout.
It's a video game. Anyways, he looks like that guy. As a matter
Okay.
of fact, I'm pretty sure it's like what that guy was based off of.
Possibly.
Like, honestly, the years wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, he basically is.
So
that
he
guy minus
wants-
the glasses.
He wants Roger Cobb to sell the house. Roger Cobb says no. And then,
Roger's fixing up a projector also.
yeah.
It's kind
Kelly
of important.
doesn't like the house. She doesn't want to live there.
Yeah.
Laurel finds a stuffed dog lamp,
Yeah.
which I hate to say this becomes important later on.
It actually does.
And then they all get in a car, get in
For
a
the
car accident.
stupidest of reasons.
The Cobbs, not Burke, but the Cobbs get in a car,
Uh-huh.
get in a car accident. Roger
Where's
Cobb
Joe
becomes a
Cobb?
Roger Cobb becomes a corn on the cob crispy critter.
He gets fried darker than Makoshi Ice.
And Laurel ends up in a wheelchair, so they move into the house.
Okay, so I want to tell people how badly I wanted Roger to just be burned as black as Makoshi. And guess what? It just happened. I got what I wanted. But so much so, in fact, that we will go into the deeper necessities of how right I was soon, because it deals with literal Makoshi bullshit.
Also, there's a Native American medicine man called Ezra.
Oh yeah, he's cool, and he reminds me of Ezra from Color Out of Space.
His name is Ned Romero,
Yeah,
the actor, that is.
he's all like, house built on ancient burial ground. White man is evil. Please leave house while I take care of evil souls.
Yeah,
He's
it's
equally dope.
a birdemic situation.
And not as bad though, not to that degree. Like it's much more lenient with it in terms of respect the Native Americans. It actually does. Oh yeah, can we talk about Reggie's grandpa taking the blood oath for the house when he got married?
Sure, go ahead.
It's like, the whole thing of this movie is based around the fact that the grandpa that owned the house took a blood oath on his wedding day to never sell the house to the white man. And it's like, okay, he got married to a Native American. We find out that later. And thus why the house was built on the spring ritual or whatever.
Yeah, on this sealing some hot healing spring.
Yeah. Which, the healing spring is just a soul prison. It's just Mikoshi.
It's also doesn't work because wouldn't Laurel be able to walk again?
Kinda, but no. Anyways. So, like, the whole thing is based around that blood oath. And honestly, that's a bit much there. Like, it doesn't need to go as far as that. Especially considering that, like, it could just be, oh, hey, wife after, husband die just wants to keep the house. Like, no, you don't, they have to add the fucking whole blood ritual into it also, just to make it fucking super spooky and supernatural, like, whatever. We don't need that much. It's like, it's a story about the house, just like, we know the house shouldn't be sold. Especially not to fucking Snidely Whiplash and the Goon Squad there. Like, fuck this movie. So yeah, we get the car crash.
Yeah, we already did the car crash. That's not important. I want to get this nonsense out of the way.
Yeah, they get back to the house.
This movie is not worth a half-hour episode.
Laura's in a wheelchair.
Yep, said that already.
Where do we leave that? Also,
they go into
the fireplace, whatever.
They go into the house and they move in.
Yeah.
Ashes over the fireplace.
Yeah, ashes over the fireplace. Laurel talks about, oh yeah, this place would be perfect for a house, for a Halloween party. That'd be dope.
Yep.
Do we have a Halloween party? It's like, yeah, it's kind of hitting the nail on the head there.
We get the best character in the movie, a housekeeper called Verna Klemp.
Oh yeah, she shows up now. She's the best character.
And Kelly's like, I didn't hire a housekeeper though. It's like, oh no, it's okay. The industry, the bureau sent me.
Company, whatever.
She said like the bureau or the institute.
Something vague.
Yeah, something vague. They sent me, and I'll be your housekeeper. And she's like, oh, okay.
Which honestly works, because we figure out later what exactly she is.
So they're having a yard sale.
Mm-hmm.
And Burke wants to buy the house, but Kelly says no.
Yep. Well, because she actually owns it.
Yeah.
Burke thinks he owns it because he's the husby's stepbro.
Yep.
But it's like, no, the house got passed to her because she's actually next of kin. She's his wife.
Yes. So then we get into scares.
Yeah, in terms of the goons threatening the family's well-being and all that.
That comes later. That's a different movie.
And also an actual scare
first,
in terms of
the house,
mental stability.
The house starts doing its ghosty stuff.
Yeah.
The first of these is a pizza's delivered by a singing pizza man who, frankly, I would not tip. Because
I would tip him down the fucking stairs.
No, I just give me the pizza and go away.
No, I would tip him off a fucking bridge.
So Kelly brings the pizza and she opens the box and the pizza has a face. Note
what happens.
that this is 40 minutes of nothing into the movie.
Yeah.
And
we
they open the box and it's a pizza face and it's singing. It's like, I waited 40 minutes for a singing pizza.
I think before that though we get also don't we get the plumber?
Oh, I guarantee it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, the plumber, he kind of matters because he deals with the water situation, which is all black as Mikoshi ice.
Oh yeah, it's because mud's coming out of the pipes, even though I'm pretty sure it isn't that.
And he's just down in the basement where the spring is, but he doesn't realize the spring. It's all very convenient, really, how people are just kind of popping into this house.
Yeah.
And I honestly thought it was just the wife's mental state just making people up. But, like, no, Laurel's actually interacting with these people, so...
So the pizza sings, Laurel opens a pizza and thinks it's gross, but not because of the pizza face, but because it has anchovies on it, and she bitches about the anchovies.
I love how this phrase of the pizza sings is an actual thing we have to say.
And,
This depresses me.
the pizza spews tomato sauce at Kelly.
Marinara.
It spews it at Kelly, and then Kelly forces it down the garbage disposal in the sink. And then when Laurel comes back in, Kelly's like, "There! No anchovies! You happy?"
Take the fucking elephant.
And then Laurel's still bitching because she has to eat macaroni and cheese, which she also hates. Like, well, I hate
old macaroni.
But still, she doesn't say that. She says that after, but her says, like, "I hate mac and cheese." Like, you're not human. Mac and cheese is great. You're wrong.
But I don't know, man. Would you complain if your mom shoved an entire pizza into the garbage disposal? And you had to be forced to eat shitty mac and cheese?
And Kelly's not paying attention to Laurel because Laurel's just complaining.
Yeah, well, like, she's also kind of trying to get her attention by, like, saying shit like, "Oh yeah, I think I might be pregnant. Also, feel like my legs are coming back. Hold on, let me do a Charleston." Like, she's just trying to get her attention, and, like, the mom's just reading a mental health book, and she's going, "Oh, I'm sorry, honey, what?"
The next scene worth talking about, Laurel's in bed.
Yeah.
And then the bed grows feathery arms and pulls Laurel into it while Kelly watches. So Kelly grabs a knife to cut and slashes the mattress open, and then the mattress is fine, and Laurel's in the bed, and Kelly looks like she's gonna stab her, so she throws the knife away and it disappears.
Yeah, which, like, honestly, this scene was very confusing to me because the knife doesn't exist.
Is this a dagger I see before me?
Is this just air? But then there's a feather on top of her head because, of course, there has to be because Nightmare on Elm Street.
And then she's showering, and then the water turns to blood, and it takes her way too long to notice.
Honestly, it would be like fucking syrup. Just, like, spewed all over her. She would have noticed in a second.
And then, after this, she notices, and then it's fixed, and she thinks she's going crazy. And then the film becomes a different film. Because we're in some we're in the office building from Toxic Avenger 2, and they're putting toxic waste in barrels that are, say, non-toxic waste.
Can I talk about this?
And there's a dwarf.
I have to talk about this.
I'm sorry. I gotta say, there are 4 writers on this movie, and I'm pretty sure that's why it makes no sense.
Yeah, because we needed all 4.
Because there are also 2 screenplay writers. There's Jeff Midler and Deidre Higgins.
Any relation to
And I think we're looking at 2 different movies. I hope not. Because it's actually Miller, not Midler. I was wrong.
Whatever.
It's probably a pseudonym anyway. I wouldn't respect anyone who used their real name on this movie.
Right. But, like, oh my god, this fucking transition into the fucking Acme Labs. It's
We're in Toxic Avenger 2 now.
Yeah, just all of a sudden, like, from a random, like, drippy drop of something, I don't even know what it is, but it's like, it just transitions to, here's the Acme Labs, might as well be made by fucking the Trauma team over here, just like, let's go to the Trauma set.
There's a dwarf called Mr. Grosso.
Yeah, and he's in an office building inside the power plant.
He needs a machine to cough for some reason. He needs a machine to cough.
Yeah, and also digest his food for him.
Yeah. And it's called the phlegm. I don't think so. It's called the Phlegmatic.
It might as well be.
No, honestly, it's called the Phlegmatic.
Yeah, I believe you.
No, that's what it says.
No, but that could be fake. I would still believe you.
Okay.
Like, honestly.
He's like, hey, Burke, how you doing? You got me the house yet? No, I don't like that answer. I'm going to force feed you phlegm and toxic waste now.
Well, no, it's not actually toxic waste, it's just phlegm. But, like, it purely exists for this shot of him getting the shit dumped all over him.
So
we're just... be punished.
We're in a trauma film now.
Held at gunpoint.
We're in a trauma film now, and
they're just fucking Looney Tunes villains!
So he sends his two goons. He sends his two goons to put on a bug mask and a snake mask, and one guy says, "I want to be this
fly mask and snake mask."
There's a fly mask and a snake mask, and one says, "I want to be the snake."
Why would you be a snake? How come I have to be Mr. Pink?
And
come on, just say it.
The mask they give the fly mask they have in 1992 looks less good than the mask from The Fly in 1958.
Well, because it's not Jeff Goldblum.
Neither was the one in 1958. That was Vincent Price.
It doesn't come close to either of those, though.
So they go to
worse.
They break in with guns to harass.
Yeah. No, you could just end that sentence right there. Just to harass.
The dog lamp comes alive.
Fuck that.
Because I guess the ghost is good now?
It's so stupid.
And it attacks them, and it jumps out the window and she explodes.
Because it's not real, because it's not in the house anymore. Which never comes into play again.
I hate this movie.
I know, me too.
So
fucking stupid.
They flee because of the big dog attacking them. And it's a big, like, St. Bernard with a lamp sticking out of its head.
Yeah, no, it's literally just a dog lamp that comes to life.
I hate this film so much. And when they're fleeing, a wall comes up with fake scimitars sticking out of it.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that part. That was dumb. It's just, like, a random fucking, like, punchy stick trap from, like, fucking Vietnam out of nowhere.
It took me...
It's really bad.
5 hours to watch this movie.
Oh, God.
This movie is 94 minutes long, and it took me 5 hours to watch it.
It took me 3.
Oh, so, we get our exposition when Kelly goes to talk to Ezra. He's like, oh, it's Roger. His ghost can't move on because of evil nonsense.
Uh-huh.
And he's in the house, and that's why I protected your daughter. It's like, okay, then why was he... Then if he's the ghost haunting the house, why did he try to make his wife kill his daughter?
Okay, I see this in 2 ways, possibly. One
bad
is
writing. I see it in that there are 2 different writers.
I see one in the more possible and the one that's just convenient for convenient bullshit's sake.
Okay.
And it's the convenient for convenient bullshit's sake one is that it's like, oh yeah, maybe it's just the house being threatened, therefore it's like in crisis. And the other one is, hey, maybe there's several spirits in the house which are like, you know, trying to jostle for control. Like maybe one of them is the grandpa, and like some other ones are like the Native Americans, and like just all of them are the bad, except for the husband one, which is the good and the true owner of the house.
So
which is just making this entire it makes the entire movie fucking Poltergeist.
Oh, they
just a worse version of Poltergeist.
Kelly decides to sell the house to Burke, and he's all yay, and he comes, and she's like, all right, but you can't demolish the house.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to come visit sometimes, and he's like, but I want to dump toxic waste in the caves under the house, so that's not going to work.
He puts down the fucking barrel, and he just does the little jaggy dance away from it.
So they decide to burn the house down. He sends his goons to burn the house down.
Burn down the house. What?
And then one turns into a snake man and the other turns into a bug man, so they shoot each other. But not
Jackie
before
would
setting
turn
the house
into a
on fire.
snake bug man.
Not before setting the house on fire, because they do dump the oil,
Yes.
the gasoline, and a bullet lands in the gasoline.
Mm-hmm. Jackie
And
would
then-
also shoot the gasoline barrel.
But before this scene happens, Verna Klump, who we see look like searching through stuff in the house, and I thought was evil. At first,
No, I didn't think she was evil. I just
I thought
she
she
might
worked
be a
for-
hallucination made by the house.
I thought she worked for Burke personally,
Mm.
but she hears something outside when she's looking after Laurel, so she goes outside with her gun.
Yep.
That she has in her purse, and then she gets clonked by one of the two stooges.
Well, she is the best.
And then
Said
they're in
it
the basement.
herself.
They're setting up the stuff to burn the house down. One gets turned into one is a bug monster, is a bug man. The other is a snake man. So they kill each other because one's
Well-
scared of bugs and the other's scared of snakes.
They hallucinate it, yeah.
Mm.
So, like, of course they kill each other.
But the house still catches fire, and
The house melts.
Kelly gets back. Yeah, Kelly gets back. She's like, "Oh, my house, my daughter's in there." She runs in to save her. And then it-
Stain the carpet like red slush is.
It turns out that Verna Klump is part of the
Tripping
FBI,
over bodies of dead lushes.
and Roger Cobb is one of the cops arresting Burke.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Grosso isn't happy.
Honestly, the fact that Roger's one of the cops out of nowhere at the end is like the stupidest thing ever.
And then the movie's over. And I didn't stay through for the credits.
Oh, nor should you have. There's literally no point.
This is a bad film.
There's like very few things I still want to talk about.
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna touch on them like one at a time here.
Okay.
First off, she swings on the bed with a fire poker near the end, and then the bed breaks like it does at the beginning when she first goes into the house, but she like laughs this second time.
Yeah,
when it
because
breaks.
she knows it's Roger.
Yeah, exactly. And it just doesn't make sense why she would just go at the fucking thing with a fire poker though. It's like really her mental state is really highly questioned in this film. Like honestly, this whole movie could have just been the plumber and the nanny and the pizza man and all those fucking people basically were just a figment of her imagination.
It must suck to be like an actual fan of the first house watching this.
Yeah, and
because
then not getting any follow-up.
Because for the reason of, hey, you know Roger Cobb? Yeah, I like him. He's dead immediately.
Yeah.
What?
Getting no proper resolution to these characters.
Like
just, this person died, now they're part of this house.
Like
literally.
it doesn't bring up at
Send
all
them to
that
Mikoshi.
it doesn't bring up at all that Roger Cobb has a son. 2 is divorced from his wife. 3 is a writer, and 4 served in Vietnam and had the whole thing with Big Jim. Like,
Well,
what-
the whole Vietnam thing makes sense when you come into the whole part with the dog and everything.
but
The
was
hockey
he
stick
in this
trap.
movie?
I don't
Was he?
fucking know.
Did they watch the first house?
Honestly, they probably didn't.
Like House 2 had nothing to do with anything, but at least it was good.
Honestly, this movie was tripe, man. This is garbage. The only good thing about it was, like, the Acme villains being dumb. And, like, usually, like, that would
Like, this
put me
wa-
over on a movie, but it's like,
This
nah, this
was
case
worse
bad.
than House 3.
Yeah.
Because House
Much bad.
3
Much worse than House 3.
had some better horror scenes,
Honestly,
even though it
this-
did have the worst villain.
Yeah. This was kind of trying in certain parts to be a
Because
comedy.
I will say again, Meat Cleaver Matt is the
Uh-huh.
worst. Because it's, move over, Freddy, move over, Jason, there's a new killer in town. It's this guy
Yeah,
who
that
laughs
was
like
dumb.
Woody Woodpecker.
Yeah, it was dumb.
Like, the way he laughed is like, it's like, stop it. Stop it, Elmer Fudd.
Jaleel White had a better laugh as Urkel.
Did I do that?
He had a better laugh than that guy did. But, like, honestly, this movie could have benefited from actually being slightly more of a comedy. It had the
tried
feeling
to
of
be.
it
This is the thing.
being
This
one.
movie is a horror comedy, but it's a
not a
bad
good
horror comedy.
Yeah, it's not.
And while a bad horror movie can give you something as entertaining as like Plan 9 from Outer Space, a
Right.
bad comedy is just failing at being funny. And that's what this movie did. It failed at comedy.
Yeah, it's the greatest sin is wasted potential. And
What
this had
potential?
A lot of it could have been as good as House 2.
Yeah.
It could have been at the very least as
Like,
entertaining as House 2, or
one of
even
the
half
things-
as entertaining.
I said about this movie while watching it is that it feels like a later season's Goosebumps episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I would believe this was a Goosebumps movie if
Yeah.
it wasn't for all the swearing.
Honestly, all the acting just like reeks Goosebumps.
And this isn't like good Goosebumps. This is like piano lessons can be murder Goosebumps movie show.
one of those really shitty off-brand episodes.
But really,
Or I'm a
could
werewolf
play-
or whatever, going through changes, whatever that episode was.
yeah, Bad Hair.
Yeah,
Bad
Bad
Hair
Hair
Day is
Day.
the one with the rabbit.
Yeah.
But you could have the words before that. You could have the Goosebumps opening with the do 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 dun 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 dun. You could have that play in front of this movie, and you wouldn't know it wasn't a Goosebumps film.
No, straight up fitting. Perfect. Amazing. Honestly, I would have
I hated
probably
this
liked it a bit more even.
I haven't said this about a movie we've seen in a long time, but I actively despise this film.
Oh yeah, I know. I hated this also.
Like,
Maybe
I
not
don't
as bad
even-
as you, but I still hated it.
I don't even feel the need to rate this one, because all I need to say as a rating is this movie's 94 minutes, but it took me 5 hours to watch.
No need to, honestly. You're fine in not rating it. I have just one more thing to say about this before we're done, and then I'm gonna put my rating on it because, like, my rating is just to put the stamp on this fucking thing before we drop the coffin into the ground.
Okay.
So, the fucking the final climax of this film is the house being on fire, right?
Right.
The spring erupts and the house is just jizzing everywhere.
Oh, I forgot that the house catches on water at the end.
Catches on water. Hey, Merrick, get back in the fiery water. It just fucking jizzes everywhere, dude. It's just spraying fucking water, just blasting out the roof. It's such nonsense. Honestly, it was the one thing where I literally had to, like, pause the movie and just, like, stop for a second and just being like, I hope the director fucking burns to the darkest Mikoshi after this. Like, this is just bad, dude.
Well, next week we're doing something that probably isn't going to be really good,
Mm-hmm.
but it is going to be at least entertaining, I hope, because
Okay.
this wasn't even fun. This movie, like Ghosts of Mars, was bad, but at least parts of it were entertaining.
Honestly, it was a decent movie at the very
Zombie
least.
3 was entertaining.
Yeah, Ghost of Mars
This was
decent.
not. This was not.
Yeah, honestly.
This was worse than Class of Nukem High Part 2.
This literally gets a fucking 0.5 from me, okay? Purely because of the charred black husband going as black as Mikoshi Ice, and then the fucking villain retardation. That's
Anyway,
the only
next
two
week-
things this movie gets from me. Fuck this thing.
Next week, we're going to be looking at an Italian, possibly post-apocalyptic, ripoff of The Warriors.
Cool.
So, until then, I've been Merrick D'Amato.
And I've been burning everybody just Mikoshi black darkness.
Even though you can find this entire movie on YouTube,
Don't
watch it.
Don't
Please.
watch this, honestly, maybe watch the part with the Acme Lab. Everything else, just
If
don't.
you want to watch this movie, just watch House 1 again.
like
And
honestly,
pretend that this doesn't exist.
shoot yourself full of morphine because it is painful.
Look, if you ever get the idea of watching this movie, smack yourself in the face with a rolled up newspaper.
Yeah,
And say
just
bad.
do that. Or better yet, I will come to your house and smack you personally. for wanting to watch this film. But
Or
do that free of charge.
Or do anything else.
Yeah.
Like subscribe to this channel.
Yeah, or if you're willing to be in even more pain, but slightly more pleasurable pain, come over to mine. I'll treat you good. Wink, wink.
Did you just compare your channel to S&M?
Bingo dingo. Ciao, guys.
Ciao.